Welcome to Fanalyze This. I'm Joe 5 o'clock somewhere.
And I'm Anthony Perry.
Hold on, AP. Let me fanalyze this for you real quick.
Tell 24 to pass the ball.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That's not what I'm talking about, man.
Welcome to Fanalyze This. It is Thursday, Halloween, October 31st. I'm Joe 5 o'clock somewhere.
And this is a sad Anthony Perry.
I'm kind of a jubilated Eric V.
Jubilated, I like that.
I'm 8-0, player. That's
Oh, man. We got a pretty good show today. Obviously, we're going to start with the Boston Red Sox winning their 8th World Series championship last night.
Boo.
Also in the show today, we'll get into the Week 9 picks for the NFL. One of us on this panel went 13-0 last week, but we'll get to that. NBA season tipped off Tuesday night. We'll talk about someone being right again about the Battle of Los Angeles. We'll get a little hockey in there, but let's get it going with the World Series. I know you want to start this off since you're sad.
I almost thought we were on the Titanic there for a second.
Yeah, we are going down. Was that Boston's Red Sox music?
Yeah, did you like that? That was shipping off to Boston, Dropkick Murphys. It's actually the shirt I wore last week on this show.
DK.
Yeah.
So let's back up. Okay, for those of you who are under a rock, Boston Red Sox closed out the World Series last night, winning 4-2, which by my math, 4 plus 2 is 6, and I believe it was, that's right, me, that picked the Red Sox to win the World Series in 6 games. Huh.
Imagine that, dude.
Yeah, I'm. For those of you who forgot or didn't listen to last week's show, AP had picked St. Louis to win the series in 6. Eric V had picked St. Louis to win in 5. But again, I picked Boston to win in 6, and yeah.
As he says, he's stretching his wings, and we will say congratulations to him because he also picked Pittsburgh against the Cardinals, and he picked the Dodgers after that. So I guess the numbers was about his time to be right.
No, you know what it
law
was?
of averages,
Just the law of averages. It had to be.
No.
You were wrong 2 other times.
It's not law of averages. And let me tell you, and this is what I told you off the air. You stick to your National League, I'll stick to my American League. Obviously, I didn't know what I was talking about with the National League picks, but when a big dog American League team came in, they won in 6 games.
That is quite funny, but we'll give you that because you must be right because you're gloating and you feel good.
Oh, man, if you think I'm gloating now, just wait.
This dude,
Just wait.
this happens to be this just has to be one of his best weeks ever.
You don't even know.
On
You
the
don't even
radio,
know.
dude. I'm telling you,
I'm looking like a genius this week. I was texting Eric V about it last night. But
he was killing me.
let's stick with the baseball, though. It was Lackey versus Waka. Fun fact here, John Lackey is the first pitcher to close out the World Series with 2 different teams, of course, the first time being when he was with mine and Eric V's Angels.
Yeah, that's right.
I told you, man, Lackey in the clincher. He's clutch.
We'll give it to him. I tell you, I didn't believe in him. He's a right-handed pitcher, and I figured the Cardinals would hit him. They hit him, but they couldn't hit him in the right times, and they couldn't get a run across until it didn't matter.
You know what, though? What we all believed in at this time last week was Michael Wacha. What happened to the rookie last night?
The law of averages.
Wait a second. He gave up 2 runs in the first game he played too.
Yeah,
So-
but it wasn't until the 6th or 7th inning that 2-run homer was hit that he gave up runs. He was dominant until that 6th inning, and that 2-run homer got hit when Poppy hit that off the field left field home run.
You're talking about game 2.
Right.
Game
But
2, it was a solo shot.
No, it was a
led
2-run
off.
homer.
It was 2-run.
It was 1-0 Cardinals at the time that he hit.
Oh, that's
They put him
right.
up
You're
2-1.
right. Yeah. Okay.
But
So
I'm
there
saying
it is there.
before that, he didn't give up a run against Pittsburgh, and he didn't give up a run against the Dodgers. So he hadn't given up anything. He had 1 ERA in the postseason.
I guess it just goes to show you that Boston was definitely stronger this year.
That's what I said. Boston was a better team.
Boston's strong. They've had that going for them.
yeah.
We've talked about it through the year, and I said to you many times, Joe, that Boston was a team that could score on anybody. I mean, they were averaging like 8 runs a game. I just figured the Cardinals would hit their right-hand pitchers better, and they didn't, and it surprised me.
Yeah, the Cardinals, I mean, they didn't hit bad.
No,
What's
they hit
weird
bad.
about this is who hit poorly was the Boston Red Sox, with the exception of David Ortiz. I think Ellsbury finished with a 250 batting average, but everyone else was like 230 and below for the entire Red Sox
as
team.
a team, they were hitting 218 coming into this game last night. The Cardinals were hitting like 220, 230. They said in runners in scoring position, the Cardinals hitting 235, and all year they hit 330. So as a team, that great pitching stifled that great hitting.
Yeah, but if you
I'm
guys
just
would have had
saying.
that timely hitting, maybe got an
You're
RBI or
absolutely right.
2 from
No.
your 6 through 9 guys. Hey, how does Freese not get an RBI in 6 games? I don't understand that.
Freese. It just bothered me that John Jay didn't get but 2 hits, I think, the whole series, and Freese got 1 or 2 hits the entire series, and especially with runners on base, they didn't hit well at all, and it just surprised me that they hit that poorly.
I think it's because he's shaved. If you remember in 2011 when they won the World Series against Texas, he had the shadow. He had a shadow, a little stubble on his face.
Who we talking
about? David Freese?
David Freese, yeah.
Huh?
He was living in the glory. I hope he comes back next year a lot better. The Cardinals go out and get another second baseman and move Mr. Matt Carpenter to hopefully wins the MVP to third base and call David Freese a bye-bye. Maybe a bench player.
Okay, Matt Carpenter's not winning
Wait,
the MVP.
Did you just say bench player?
Bench player.
Okay, I was
bench
making sure. That you
player.
clarify that.
B-E-N-C-H.
I'm
bench.
the one that slipped up last week, so sorry.
Yeah, player. I didn't do it.
No, eventually, you're going to get me calling the player right.
It's player. I get what you're saying, but you look at these St. Louis Cardinals, man, and I say Matt Carpenter could be the MVP because as a leadoff hitter, he was the best leadoff hitter in the National League.
He had 199 hits.
He led baseball with 199 hits. He led Major League Baseball with 53 doubles. And for a number 1 hitter, he drove in 77 runs.
I knew you were going to do this.
Batting
I knew you were going to do this.
Saying,
give Boston their minute. Let's not talk about Carpenter and MVP. Let's give Boston at least 5 minutes to be the champion before we talk about the Cardinals.
We can't
Let's
stop
talk
it.
about David Ortiz real quick.
Let's talk about the best clutch hitter
Let's talk about
in postseason.
Senor Octubre.
Yeah, must be.
Is that what they call him?
They could.
Maybe they could.
They could very
Spanish
well.
for Mr. October.
I mean, was he 11 for 16 or something like that in this series?
Dude, he finished batting .688, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. He had 8 or 9 walks. Like 3 or 4 of them were intentional.
I think we have
an
a
actual
guest.
Boston fan here.
Okay, listen. Last night, Babe Ruth was watching. Because this is the first time that the pennant has been cinched at Fenway since Babe Ruth was on the team.
1918?
Right? 1918. Fenway was 6 years old. This is before my time. Wake up. And the big thing was that he was watching, and his big question was, who the hell is this Poppy guy?
Was he watching with a beer in his hand?
Oh, yeah, had to have been. Anybody who's a Sox fan or Sox-related drinks beer.
And hot dogs.
You know, I think Lindy might be onto something here with the whole Ruth thing because the whole series they kept saying that his numbers were Ruthian. You know, Poppy killed it, dude. I mean, there was no question who was going to be the MVP in this series.
He's 37, 30.
He's an old
How
guy.
old is Poppy now? He's getting
36,
up there.
37 years old.
Yeah, so he was. And how many times did they walk him in the series? I mean, how
think close to
wimpy
8
is
times.
that?
It was
Yeah.
8 times for sure.
Well,
it might have been 9.
Well, let's say
It was smart on their side to walk
it was
him.
it was strategic because I'm gonna tell you after during the 11 series when Pujols hit those 3 home runs, he never had another opportunity to hit again in that series.
They had brought it up during the
They
game.
walked him
It
the
was
rest of the series.
The only other time someone had been walked 4 times a game was Pujols, like you just brought up, and then Bonds back when the Angels played him.
Okay,
Yes. So
but
when
this
you're a
wasn't
good
fair.
hitter,
Yeah, but this wasn't fair last night.
Was it
Bottom of
fair?
the eighth, right? Bottom of
Okay.
the 8th, or was the top of the 8th? I can't remember because I'd been
Who
at
was-
a
who
meeting.
was
It was
batting?
the bottom. Boston was batting.
Batting with
Yeah,
bottom.
okay. So he's up. He's batting, and it's like there's no way that the Cardinals are going to come back from this huge deficit, right? 6-1. There's no way they're going to come back. Just let him hit the ball. Let him have it. That was so unfair.
well, I got to say the time before he was up, he struck out. They let him hit then, and he didn't hit.
Well, he was first up in the inning
He
when
was
they pitched
first
to
up.
him.
That's
though.
right.
And they pitched to
He
him.
was.
That's the only smart time to pitch
But I'm
to
saying
him.
they pitched to him.
I think also
and he struck out.
I seen a
He was
stat
over
also
1.
last night. Barry Bonds in that 0-2 series when we beat the Giants. When the Angels beat the Giants, he was walked 21 times. I think
My gosh.
Ortiz.
That's a lot.
Or wait, I think it was over the. I'm sorry, the whole
The whole entire
postseason was
postseason.
21 times. I think
Okay.
Poppy finished with 19 walks this postseason.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, he
All
was-
right.
he was
well,
one of
now
those
that
guys
I've
unbelievable.
Now that you've had a true Sox fan, dyed-in-the-wool Sox fan with an original Red Sox uniform, I will turn the mic back over to the boys.
Oh, before you go, what's
know
your
what?
name? I'm sorry, what's your
Oh,
name?
you. Bye-bye.
No, what's your name?
I'm Lindy
Hi, Lindy.
Thorell,
Yeah, thanks, Lindy.
Red Sox fan.
An actual
appreciate
Red
you,
Sox
Lindy.
fan. I don't think our Cardinal fan is too happy about
And
all
actually,
that right now.
Oh,
the
no,
best-
I respect it very much. Now the series is even in history between the Sox and the
True,
Cardinals.
true.
That's
But one of the reasons I'm a Sox fan is one of my cousins owns a little tiny piece of the Sox.
Oh, then
No,
you're the
let's get
truest.
us some tickets to
You're
Fenway.
the truest Sox
I
fan.
can't get tickets to Fenway, even though he's related to me because he owns a tiny piece.
There are no seats.
There are no seats. I did have a friend at the game last night. She had a ball.
Speaking of which, no seats, standing room only tickets. The cheapest tickets on StubHub last night were like $9,800 some odd dollars. Like
I was
that
gonna
is
say, can you believe that?
ridiculous for standing room
Really?
only.
Dude, that was the owner, by the way. So just so you know.
The owner of the Sox?
No, the owner of this station we're broadcasting from.
I didn't realize that I had never met Lindy Thorell before.
For the audience.
I know what you're doing.
That's all.
Anyway, so let's not rub it in too much more. He knows it happened. The Sox won in 6 games.
They won. I mean, they've beaten the Cardinals now in 2004, and they beat them in 2013. So I'm going to give it to the Sox. Best team for the generation, or excuse me, for this last 10 years. Not the generation, because that's 40 years. So we give them the last 10 years, best team in baseball.
Well, the reason what I mean about not rubbing it in too much is baseball season's over.
It is now.
It's basketball season now.
My Angels are undefeated.
So the best sport's finally back. NBA season tipped off Tuesday night. There were a couple games. There was a doubleheader on TNT we talked about last week. Bulls in Miami was the early game. Wasn't too impressed by D Rose's line, but I'm going to immediately jump to the late game that we discussed on this show last week, the Battle of Los Angeles. By the way, Clippers, there's no rivalry there. You've won one Pacific Division title once ever. We've won 16 NBA championships ever. What happened on opening night, Lakers versus Clippers? Remind me real quick.
W for the Lakers. Yo.
Miami Heat won.
No.
Oh, wow.
Hold on.
You just had to throw that in there.
Oh, we're talking about what happened between the Battle of La La Land. I was wrong. I said that the Clippers should beat the Lakers by 20 points.
Hold on. It wasn't even just beat. Okay.
It was by 20.
I didn't say it.
The
I say by
Clippers,
20, right?
the Clippers starters minus they had Crawford out there. So who was it? Dudley was on the bench. So it was Crawford and the 4 other Clippers starters versus the Lakers bench the entire fourth quarter.
And got outscored by 17
The Lakers scored
points.
41 points
in the fourth
quarter.
Stony, dude.
And we end up beating the Clippers. What was the final score? It was 113, 106, something like that.
Yeah.
I know we won by 13. So, here's my problem. All this hype about the Clippers and, they're going to be so good. They got Doc Rivers, this and that. Listen, when Doc Rivers won championships in Boston, he had the big 3 fall into his lap. Let's talk about how bad Doc Rivers was with Orlando, how bad Doc Rivers was with Boston the year before he got Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. Both players much better than anything on the Clipper roster outside of CP3. Blake Griffin's the most overrated player in the NBA. Here's the Clippers. You got a very good point guard, in my opinion, the best in the league, a bunch of cute alley-oops, and not much more, which is why I picked the Lakers to beat them on opening night.
Do you think the Lakers are going to have a better year than the Clippers are?
No, I don't. That's not what I'm
Probably
saying.
not.
No, I'm asking. Yeah. I'm asking a separate question.
No, I don't think the Lakers are going to have better year than the Clippers.
So the few alley-oops that they used to have are going away to very few, but their defense will be better this year, and I say they're going to have a very good year.
DeAndre Jordan was 8 for 10 in the game. I don't think he took a shot that wasn't an alley-oop.
No, he shot a jump shot. I know with like 2 or 3 seconds left and 24-second clock that I was watching. So
also,
no.
your boy Doc's been talking about DJ like he's the next Kevin Garnett. That guy's a liability in the fourth quarter. You can't have him out there. What did he shoot? 29% free throws.
He's 1 for 4, 1
He's
for 5.
horrible.
I don't know. He is. He is one of the worst.
He's worse than Shaq, worse than Dwight put together. That's the worst free throw shooter I've ever seen.
I don't know
Really?
if there's much worse than
DeAndre
Dwight.
Jordan is
Or Shaq.
awful.
Shaq, period.
He's bad, but
Shaq
I
was
will
always like
say,
a 50% guy. DeAndre Jordan shot like 29 or 36, something around there last season.
Well, yeah,
He's
he
awful.
was bad.
Does
but
he get to the
will
line that often?
He gets there. He gets
a
there
fair
because
amount.
of the hacking rules that get him there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like the hack of Shaq.
They don't foul him because he never really has the ball.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
not the
I
guy
get
that they throw and down low to do anything.
Like I don't have cable, so I don't really see. All I get to do is I get to listen to the games on the radio. That's how I get my information.
Well, there's
So-
theater of the mind, so that means you get a more vivid
I've
picture.
got the more vivid picture, but the problem that I've got is not being able to see half the stuff that goes down. All I hear is, "Oh, he did this," and "Oh, look at that." And it's
Well, let me
still
help you
from
out
here.
then a little bit because the Lakers played again last night, first road game
Oh,
of the
yeah,
season.
I heard about that.
We
one.
went and got beat up by the
They
Warriors.
played.
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, we were
They took the flight.
technically a game was played, but I don't think the Lakers really played the game.
They took the flight.
But
They
the
took
Warriors won big, 125-94.
31 point
And this
game.
goes right back to my problem with the Clippers. Why is everyone talking about the Clippers like they're the new next best thing, and there's nothing being talked about these Golden State Warriors, who to me is hands down right now, going into this season, the best team in California?
Doesn't Mark, what's his name? Mark Jackson's
Mark
coach, right?
Jackson,
Yeah,
third
oh, yeah.
year.
Oh, yeah.
I think part of that is because Doc Rivers coming over to the team. They
But
believe
why?
that was going to
But
make
why?
them better.
Why is Doc Rivers being your coach? All of a sudden,
in
this
the-
great thing.
Because in the last 5 years, he seemed to be a very good coach.
with 3
tactician.
All-Stars. What did he do before Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen fell in his lap in Boston? What was his record in Boston the year before? What was his record in Orlando? Do you remember that? He's not a good coach.
He might be a good coach.
He could coach good players, but they don't got that in L.A.
But I got to ask you, who's ever been a great coach with bad players? Ever?
Phil Jackson.
No. What was Phil ever?
Phil
won
Jackson
with bad
had
players?
the 2 best players of all time.
Phil has never
Michael
had
Jordan
bad,
and
bad
Kobe.
Wait a
teams.
second. When Michael Jordan was out,
He still had an all-star
They
team.
still lost the Eastern Conference Finals to the Knicks when Michael Jordan was gone.
I remember that. That, and then they lost the Eastern Conference Finals to the Magic the next year when Jordan was there.
Yeah, but Jordan was only there for like a quarter of that season.
I'm just saying he was back. Either way.
But
wait, what about
a
Lenny
coach
Wilkins
without stars winning?
when he won with Seattle?
Yeah, but he was a player.
No, he had players, though. He had players. Gus Williams was playing up there, Phil Chenier, and a few others. He had some
coaches
players
out
up there. But I'm saying, he said Mike Brown. I'm trying to think of coaches, and who's the best coach? I feel like
You
Larry
always say
Brown,
Larry Brown is
to
your
me,
guy.
was one of the best coaches, period. I don't care who he had on the team.
He was with what? Philly.
Yeah, but
And
he
then he
took
went
a
to
team
Detroit.
with Allen Iverson to the finals, and that's all he had.
Without, Iverson,
So-
not much more. Who, by the way, officially retired yesterday. I thought Allen Iverson retired 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I'm just going to say Larry Brown to me is the best coach I've ever seen, X and O's, that in college he won a championship with Danny Manning and 4 or 5 other players that you never heard of.
Kentucky.
Came
Or
to
Kansas,
the pros
excuse
with
me,
Kansas,
Kansas, yeah.
came to the pros and took a team to the finals. He was winning in Denver and they didn't have anybody. Larry Brown, as far as I was concerned, was one of the best coaches. Outside of that, the guy in San Antonio might have been a great coach. I don't know many great coaches.
Popovich.
I know of a
Popovich.
great coach right now that no one's talking about because we're hearing all this Doc Rivers bull crap.
The guy in
Mark
Chicago?
Jackson in Golden State.
Mark Jackson
That's
was-
the team in
You're talking
California
about
everyone should be
Thibodeau,
talking
right?
about right now.
Thibodeau's a good
Not the
coach, too.
Clippers, not the Lakers, of course not the Kings. The Golden State Warriors are going to make noise this year.
Well, they have a.
They're
they
already
have a
the
nice-
best shooting team in the league, and they just added
Already,
Andre
after 2
Iguodala. No
games?
big deal. They got a healthy David Lee back.
But Andre Iguodala is not a great player. He's an acrobatic player. He's a very athletic guy, but he's not a guy that can shoot. He might take a couple of guys off the dribble.
He's a guy that could start at 3 and play your backup point, which he does.
Yeah, but what they're missing is the guy that left.
Well,
last
they didn't need him
year.
to last night. They
What's
had
your
Tony
guy
Douglas
that played the
playing.
great shoe collection that left the Warriors last year?
Jarrett Jack.
And that's probably why they're not as rated as high as you believe they are. Because had they kept him and re-signed their big guy, people would have looked at them and said they've just gotten better. But see, they lost a piece and brought him in. They got to see how they gel first. That's probably why they're not looked at.
I don't know, man. A healthy David Lee is huge, too.
It is. I like David Lee.
I'm gonna have to catch a few basketball games this season. Dude.
What's the guy?
I mean, it's early on. It's only the second. Today's the third day of the season.
What's
It
the
started
guy's
Tuesday
name? Name
night.
starts with the B. The guy they re-signed 3-year
Bogut?
contract. Bogut.
The big Aussie?
Yeah, they're
Andrew
not sure
Bogut.
what he was going to look like, but he re-signed with the team, so he's their only big man. Really, David Lee is what, 6'9"?
No, they have Festus Ezeli, who was the last pick in the draft. What was it, 2 years ago or whatever? But he's hurt, so they do. Don't shrug. He's 7 feet tall. You can't teach 7 foot.
No, I'm saying that's plain. That's
I know, but
plain.
you're talking about David Lee is only 6'9". They have another 7-footer on their
Right, but I'm
roster.
saying-
He's
but
just
I'm-
hurt right
But
now.
I'm saying that's plain. That's all I'm saying.
No, you forgot the 17-year veteran Jermaine O'Neal is in Golden State now.
That's where he is. Okay.
Where is
Jermaine
he?
O'Neal is in Golden State.
No.
Yeah,
played
is.
big
I saw-
minutes last night,
I
actually.
saw him come off at
That's
halftime.
funny because him and Kobe were drafted the same year.
That's right, the two high
Both
school
the-
players in
yeah,
'96.
That's right.
Yeah.
Indiana and
Two
the
different
Lakers.
careers.
Yeah, no kidding. huh?
Okay, so now bringing it full circle, my point I'm trying to make with Golden State and the Clippers, they happen to play each other tonight at this, I guess it's going to still be the Staples Center. It won't look like it with the J.J. Redick banner over Magic Johnson's retired jersey, but that's, whatever. We'll let that one go. I will guarantee you right now
Uh-oh.
that the Golden State Warriors beat the Clippers at the Staples Center tonight.
By what?
I may be wrong, but I doubt it.
Well, I tell you what.
It's going to be a close game.
We'll go back to the World Series real quick. You won a bet and you lost a bet. You had a 2-sandwich bet and you won one. You still have a sandwich left. Would
This
you
is
like
true.
to put that sandwich up on that Clippers?
Just
Excuse me,
straight up,
Golden State?
no points,
No,
just straight
no,
up?
I'm talking about win-loss. I'm talking about the game.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I will take the Warriors over the Clippers
So-
tonight for the sandwich that I owe you and will no longer owe you.
I'll take
tomorrow.
it. Man. I don't have any more bets with you.
No,
I'm done.
you've paid your 2
I'm
bets.
done with that
I've
bet.
appreciated the playoffs a great deal.
All right, so just to
Whatever.
recap real quick, so far I've been right about the Sox winning in 6 and the Lakers beating the Clippers. We're going to take
here
a
it
quick
goes.
break and then talk about football.
Can I help you? Can I help you? What do? I do it all. Have a seat. I will because that's something I can do. Do something. Do something. I am. I did. What did you do? Done. What did you do? I helped you. Are you drunk? Not drunk enough.
What do you mean, what is that? That is Metallica, Seek and Destroy, the same song we use every week for our NFL picks.
Oh, no, it was a gesture toward it that you were making. I wasn't
you're talking
quite
to I pulled the Raiders defensive coordinator to the screen? Yeah, I didn't notice when I had hit my little 12-ounce mouse thing that we play. I had the repeat on. So
okay.
You got the door opening again, and I felt like the monitor needed to get the one-finger salute for doing that to me.
Well, that's what I was looking at. I was like, who was he talking to?
Yeah. Well, he's pointing to me like, I'm going, what the hell is he doing?
He is the Oakland Raiders coach that was giving the middle finger to one of those officials.
You could tell.
Okay, so real quick, spoiler alert, the person who went 13-0 last week in our picks is the same one who had the best win-loss record the first 2 weeks that we've done this on the show. It was me. I was 13-0. Coming in second, again, AP had a very respectable record this week at 11-2, and Eric V, 8-5, bro.
Hold on, you said 11-2 is respectable? That's got to be very good.
It's amazing.
Come on.
It would be
11-2
very
had
good.
to be very good.
It would be very good if there wasn't a 13-0 right next to it.
13-0 is perfect. Wait. But 11-2
So
had to be better than just very
What
good.
did you say?
11-2 is very good.
Hey, at least I'm above 500 this week.
Yeah, 8-5 is actually your best one so far in
So
the
are you
3 weeks
even
we've
now?
done picks.
Are you even now?
No, I'm nowhere near even, dude. Are you kidding me? There's no way. I should just stop making these picks because there's no way I can win anything with you guys here.
Who was your other loss? I know one of your losses was going against my Raiders.
I think it was Philly to win.
That's right. You picked Philly as well.
picked Philly.
and
I did
Oakland.
too, didn't I?
Yeah, you both lost the Philly game. So
Cheeseburgers and fries, man.
let's do it again. Start with the Sunday games, and then we'll end up with tonight's game.
Out of
That
control.
work? Okay. Wow. This should actually be interesting since Atlanta's so beat up. Atlanta at Carolina this week. I got to go with Carolina. It's just too many injuries in Atlanta. I mean, Matt Ryan's
I'm absolutely
pretty
going
good,
with
but Cam
Carolina.
is just beasting.
Their defense is beasting.
Second best in the league right now.
Their defense is beasting. So who's number one? Is KC the number one?
KC is number one.
Okay, I wasn't sure which one was, but okay.
I'm just going to follow you guys. I'm going to take Carolina.
Carolina?
I can't lose if I pick with you guys, so that I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay, Minnesota at Dallas. Hold on, Dallas real quick. We got to talk about the ending to that Detroit and Dallas game. What a finish, right? For those of you who didn't see it, there was about
6
under
seconds
a
left.
minute left in the game, and no, there was 12 seconds after the touchdown.
No, it was 40. They got the
Yeah,
drive
yeah.
started with like 45 or so seconds left when they got the ball back from that.
Stafford threads the needle to one of it. I can't think of the dude's name. He's like the number 4 receiver, and then like 2 plays later, hits Calvin Johnson, gets down to the 1-yard line. No timeouts left. He's calling clock. Everyone in the stadium, everyone on the Dallas defensive line, everyone on Detroit's offensive line thought he was going to clock it, and Matthew Stafford had a heads-up play, hiked the ball, jumped over the line, scored a touchdown. Now, Dallas still had 12 seconds left, but Des Bryant decided to implode on his teammates at that time.
Right at that time?
No, he was imploding before.
He
then.
was
yelling.
okay. Specifically,
Well,
he was imploding on Tony Romo earlier in the game, but he decided to pick a fight with Jason Witten at that point. And I'm just saying, for Dez, he's lucky that DeMarcus Ware was there to tell him you need to go cool off, because I don't think Dez wants to mess with Jason Witten.
I don't know about that. I don't think he was picking anything with Jason. Jason was going to him and telling him whatever he didn't want to hear, and he kept putting his hand up like, back away from me, back away
You
from me.
have got to be kidding me right now. Every sports show the next day was talking about how Dez Bryant was being a prima donna, and now you're going to put it on Jason
No,
Witten.
that's
started
not what
something.
I said. That's not what I said.
Oh, Jason Witten went up to
No,
him
I
and was
said
telling
if
him
you
is what
see-
you just said.
If you see the highlights, you will see Jason Witten walking over to Des Bryant, pointing back to the field and saying something to him. And then the other boy, DeMarco, was standing and popped him in the face like, calm down, dude. But he kept taking his hand in front of your wide
You
receiver.
can't read lips. You couldn't read Jason Witten's lips pointing out the clock saying, we
Right.
have 12 seconds
Right,
left.
but
we
he
have
kept
12 seconds
well,
left.
All I'm trying to
That's
say
all
to you,
he said.
but all I'm trying to say to you is that the wide receiver kept putting his hand up to Jason Witten like, no, leave me alone, because he wasn't talking to him. So I'm saying he didn't start it with Witten. Witten came to him when he was upset. He didn't go to Witten. That's all I was saying.
Well, anyways, I thought it was cute that everyone in Dallas covered for him. You hear Witten the next day, he's a passionate player. He's like a brother to me. And Jerry Jones, same thing. And Jason Garrett, same thing. They said all the right things
Did you hear the tape?
to make it look like there's not a problem there, but that's a problem. You
But
can't
did
be
you hear the
acting like a
tape?
12-year-old if you're a professional
All I'm
receiver.
I
saying
got to
is
ask you,
this-
did you hear the tape afterwards?
If
And
you
they
go-
actually played the audio.
Go
No.
back to when the Cowboys had what's his name, T.O. Okay, it's the same kind of attitude.
Exactly. It's that prima donna wide receiver attitude, which Chris Carter on the postgame even pointed out. That it seems to be wide. Keyshawn was defending Des Bryant, and Chris Carter, he said, oh, ask CeCe, he'll agree with me. And Chris Carter's like, no, actually, you can't be like that as a professional athlete, and I'm getting sick of it as a wide receiver that every time he gets some prima donna player, it just happens to be, once again, a wide receiver. Terrell Owens, Chad Johnson, Randy Moss. All the biggest knuckleheads in NFL history have been wide receivers.
Some quarterbacks.
And
but
I'm going to say two different arguments. Chad wasn't a knucklehead on the sidelines yelling at people.
What?
He was just a guy that always wanted to bring attention to himself after scoring and whatever.
Yeah,
but he
he's a
wasn't a
clown.
knucklehead on the sidelines yelling at people. That wasn't his thing. He didn't get in trouble for yelling at people. Des Bryant is getting in trouble because they believe he's trying to get attention and say, I'm the man on the sideline. But they played the tape the next day. The NFL released the tape, and all he kept saying was, we are the best at what we do. We can beat this coverage. Let's just do this. And you say he was interrupting people. That's all he was saying. He never said, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. He wasn't saying that. And I listened to the tape. and
What
I'm
Des
telling you, it's
did,
crazy.
what I'm hearing from you right now, all Des did was it was Keyshawn's book. Just throw me the damn ball.
No,
I'm
no,
wide
he
open.
kept- no,
Give
what
me
he-
the ball.
No, what he said to them was this: we practice these plays against this coverage in practice. We can beat this. We're better than they are. Is what he was yelling on the sidelines. The NFL released the tape, and I'm telling you, if you go listen to it, you'll hear it for yourself.
Okay, well, all I'm going to say is this is the same Des Bryant who beat his own mother last year and then paid her off to not talk.
Well, he didn't beat her. She was on
Okay.
crack, and she was messing with him, and he did get in trouble for his temper. He has a temper problem. Nobody's doubting that. But what I'm saying is when you call a passionate receiver, they also brought up when Brady's on the sideline yelling at his receivers, throwing tantrums.
Dude, that's
They
Tom Brady.
I know, and they always give him an excuse.
Well, he's a quarterback.
Gee,
He's not a
God.
wide receiver.
But
is
gotta
it-
be kidding me.
no, because
Des Bryant doesn't
hold on.
deserve any
when
excuse.
That San Diego, when that was it the Ram or the San Diego guy that said there was no good, the quarterback that was throwing tantrums at reporters and everybody else.
Oh,
on
Ryan
the
Leaf,
sideline.
Ryan
the worst,
Leaf.
the worst player in NFL history.
Right, but they called him out for the same thing, for having tantrums, right?
Tom Brady doesn't have a tantrum though. It's not.
You
nothing
haven't
like
seen
that.
Tom Brady on the sideline
I have
throwing
seen him.
fits?
Please, come on.
But he doesn't.
You're
do
not
it
even
like
going to
that.
compare that to Des Bryant's meltdown after having no composure and still having 12 seconds on the clock. Grow up, Des Bryant. So, anyways, that being said, I'm picking the Vikings over Dallas.
And that's where we separate. Dallas.
That's
is
fine.
Is Matt Castle starting that game?
Don't know, don't care. I'm picking him out of spite for Des Bryant's little meltdown.
Well, then
Grow up.
I'm going to take Dallas.
Do it.
Dallas has just been throwing up points left and right. So you know what? That's it. Dallas.
That's our win.
Okay, we got to kind of run through these quick now. New Orleans at the Jets. I'm obviously Saints, right?
New Orleans.
I'm going to pick the Jets.
Wow, that's already bit you twice, but okay. Tennessee at St. Louis. I think this will actually be a decent game. I'm going with the Rams.
I'm going with Tennessee.
Really?
Rams
Even how the
quarterback
Rams
sucks.
played against Seattle?
Yeah, and their quarterback would have played better. They would have won.
Maybe if
Their
they ran the
defense
ball
is
better.
great. Their defense is great, but they have no quarterback.
Now, we talked about this during the game. If Zach Stacy doesn't get hurt and stays in the game, the Rams might have won that game. They just got to get their running game going. I think they'll win.
In the last 2 minutes of the game, when they went from the 20-yard line down to like the 3-yard line, that quarterback choked so bad it was crazy.
I don't know about choke.
It's all right. It's
Okay, KC at Buffalo. Let's skip this because we've already said Kansas City's going undefeated to the bye week. We've already stated that. All of us have agreed on that before, so yeah. We'll see what happens after the bye week, though.
But I'm not going to say nothing about that. We already know.
San Diego at Washington. I mean, everyone's saying RG3 is back and all this. I think they
take
got a
San
very
Diego.
good tight end in Jordan Reed. Alfred Morris is finally kind of looking like Alfred Morris. But I have to pick San Diego as well.
That's 3 for San Diego.
Yeah. Philly at my Oakland Raiders. Obviously, Raiders are winning this one.
That's got to be a tough.
Nick Foles was cleared to play, though, so it's looking like he might be the starter.
I'll
Hopefully
take-
it's Matt
I'll take
Barkley,
the-
though.
I'll take
love
the
that.
Raiders' run game against Philly.
You're picking the Raiders?
Run game.
Holy, wait.
It's great.
So who's winning the game? Because we
The
don't
Raiders.
go win-loss
I'm
with
gonna take
run
the
game.
Raiders. I'm gonna take the Raiders in their run
He's
game
gotta
because they
write
can't
this
throw.
stuff down.
They
Okay,
can't
okay.
throw.
Okay, I'm going to go against everything I want to it, and I'll pick the Raiders.
Yeah, all right, 3 Raiders. That's the first time that's happened on the show. Okay,
Only
Tampa
time,
Bay at
too.
Seattle. Seattle, obviously. Tampa Bay is horrible, and if anyone's going to win in Seattle, it's definitely not the Bucks.
16.5-point favorite.
Wow.
Damn.
Baltimore at Cleveland. This should be a good one, too. I'm going to go with the Browns. I'm going to go home team.
All right, we're gonna stick together. I'm going Cleveland too.
Baltimore.
Does Cleveland have a quarterback right now? They do,
No.
right?
It's actually Jason Campbell.
And he played well the last week.
You know what? Let me change
against the
that.
Browns.
Let me
Yeah.
change that. I'm still
He
going
did.
Baltimore.
Really? Even though Jason Campbell,
Even though Jason Campbell did a great
almost
job
beat
last
your
week.
Chiefs?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
you're emphatic about that.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I'm going to change it.
Okay, Pittsburgh at New England. I got to go New England still on this one. Pittsburgh
where they
doesn't look
playing?
very good. They're playing at New England, and Steelers just lost to my Raiders. I mean, let's not forget that. They're not a very good team
they
this
came
year.
back, though, and missed 2 field goals. Are they to beat the Raiders?
The Raiders have not
Were
scored
they
points in the
kicking
second
on?
half.
Were they kicking on the dirt?
I don't remember if it was
I'll
a
take
home game
New
or not.
England. Take New England.
So New England.
New England.
Okay. Indy at Houston. Indy, no doubt.
Indy.
Yeah, Indy.
All right, Monday night game, Green Bay at Chicago, the classic NFL matchup. It is in Green Bay, so I got to go with the home team on
Go
this
with Green Bay.
It's too close, that matchup historically.
Green Bay.
Got to go home team. And then finally tonight, the Halloween game, the Bengals at Miami. Something's wrong with Miami. Started
I'm
off 3-0.
thinking
They've now
Cincinnati.
lost, their last three of their last 4 or something,
Last
right?
4, yeah.
Yeah, so I got to go with the Bengals on that one.
Cincinnati.
So we just have one difference, right?
I believe so.
So
I've
that's
got
where I
the
get my
Jets.
win.
I got
Well,
the Jets.
we know what yours is.
Against who? Who is it? Atlanta?
Well, hockey fans, ran out of time there, but Eric's Ducks 10-3, my Penguins 9-4, and AP's Blues 7-1-2. Want to remind everyone, as always,
Go
to
Ducks.
go ahead and like our Fanalize This page on Facebook. You could follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and listen to any past shows that you missed on Spreaker.com. Anything you guys want to add?
I'm just saying, check the raving. Check the raving.
Yeah.
I love 88.
Thank you, guys. God bless you. Have a great week, and good luck, everybody.
For Fanalize This, I'm Joe 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's AP.
And Eric V.
Peace.